There is an interesting resemblance between Guts and the Norse mythological god, Odin. Odin lost an eye by drinking from the well of Urdir in exchange for an incomprehensible amount of knowledge of the universe. Guts lost an eye in the eclipse where he was supposed to be sacrificed, but survived and gained unimaginable understanding of the law of causality and the God hand. One is a god, the other is a struggler, but they share a similar story. The paradigm here is firstly the losing of something in a trade for knowledge. As Miura has clearly drawn inspiration from mythology, when you look at the whole manga, we can consider it a story similar to those of the old world. Knowledge seems to come at a price. The ancients interpreted it so, and the same idea is present in today's storytelling. Odin had two ravens, Huginn and Muninn. Ravens are widely considered to be symbols of bad omen and death, but the All-Father of the Norse gods owned two of them. Why? They collected information for him and delivered messages. Huginn and Muninn connected the god to death and represented the powers of necromancy and clairvoyance. It was the knowledge of the future by searching up the dead worlds and experiences. So it was a connection of the past and future, death and life, all sitting on the shoulders of Odin, the All-Father. The ravens' names are to be translated as thought, Huginn, and memory, Muninn. Thought is something of the present meant for the future, a plan or a strategy. We think of what we need to do and how we should do it, and we perceive emotions that accordingly cause thoughts of sadness, happiness, etc. that are mechanisms to cope and set the rules for the future. Do that again, or don't do that again. It also involves abstract thinking about subjects like philosophy and mathematics that try to solve more complex problems but still act as maps for the unknown. That is Huginn. And then there is memory, by which we learn from experience. Emotions are intertwined with this process. Dead things they are, past and gone, yet they are crucial part of what's to come and how we should deal with it. Learn from history is a commonly used phrase. Reading books, watching YouTube videos, reading a letter. They are not living. It is information from the past, and the people that produced it might as well be dead. We learn from the dead. It stays in memory as a sign and a lesson. That is Muninn. And there is two of them. If it were only Muninn, memory, we would be animals. It is the union of thought and memory that makes Odin knowledgeable. That is what lets us map out the world and makes us human. The very godly ability we all possess. Secondly, Guts and Odin lost an eye. Why an eye, one might ask. Guts lost an arm too, but one eye, and even the same one as Odin, the right one. Was it just show of suffering? Well, the paradigm of mythological storytelling is showing a pattern. Half of the eyes are half of the vision. With half of the vision, you're more prone to tumble into a trap or fall prey to a predator. It makes life harder. This is the catch. In order to have an expansive knowledge of the world, you need to have sacrificed and suffered, but most of all to have survived. You have an understanding, a map of the universe, hence why one eye would suffice. Even the gods lose something so they can achieve knowledge and power. There is no creature or entity that can be perfect and omnipotent. The eyes see, and seeing is a symbol of comprehending, as it is with the famous Egyptian eye. Life is difficult and cruel. Guts was supposed to be dead, sacrificed. Instead, he came out scarred, but alive and wiser. Odin also was constantly around death, as for one he was the god of war, gave up one eye and hung himself on the world tree. Many people wouldn't sacrifice to know. Many people wouldn't dare to know. The irony is that they are blind, though they have two eyes, willfully blind to the truth. It is comfort that leads them, nothing else. On the other hand, there are those who willfully sacrifice for true vision. be it half the pair of their eyes, and some find themselves amidst chaos that they consciously or unconsciously caused, and gain knowledge in exchange for loss and suffering. The Egyptian god Horus, the rightful heir to the throne after his father Osiris, also lost an eye in a battle with Seth, the embodiment of evil. His victory is remembered by all through the Egyptian eye. It is a symbol for victory over evil. In the ancient Middle Eastern Hurrian mythology, there is a similar story told of a fight between the gods of storm Tahant and a snake god Illuyanka, in which Tahant loses his eyes but then retrieves them and defeats the serpent. A lot of importance is put in mythology on the vision of the eyes and their ability to recognize evil and aid us in defeating it. Knowledge dwells everywhere in the world, and there is one particular denominator: pain. Once you step out in the world, you will experience it. It is a living creature's condition. However unpleasant and hard life might be, it teaches lessons. It is then up to us if we want to understand and learn from them. If we get resentful and start hating life, we'll ignore its teachings, and our pain would have been for nothing meaningful. The gods are masters of something, and you don't become a master without having been an error-prone amateur. The gods are the very embodiment of the perfection of skill or emotion, be it in a negative, overwhelming, or positive, helpful way. Humans always relate it to pain and sacrifice. That's why they offered animals and humans even to those high above. Guts got enraged after the eclipse. In the past, he searched for his own dream, something to look up to and strive towards. His wish was granted, albeit it wasn't quite his wish per se, but Griffith's to have a castle. Guts just started turning the gears that needed to be turned in the destiny of causality. Knowledge was given to him and he survived, although you should be careful what you wish for, how much truth you seek at a time. Odin was prepared for it, he knew the consequences. Guts, a mere human, didn't know what is about to happen. After the gaining of knowledge, he finds the world intolerable. The world revealed itself to him as being led by evil. Which evil was it though? Humans wished for an explanation for all the evil that had befallen them, thus creating the evil they wanted to explain. Humans just couldn't comprehend their suffering. Their intelligence weighed them down in that aspect. They had great perspicacity. The only thing now is to learn to use it to their advantage. Drink from the well of world knowledge at your own peril. Discover that knowledge that can help you in the future. Know that truth comes at a price. Yet know too that once you gain knowledge and you lose one eye as a consequence, you will find, under the guidance of Huginn and Muninn, your way towards the gods, and will become a formidable force which is incomprehensible for those who walk with their eyes closed, ears shut, and mouth locked.